What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, Duel commentary. Alright, we got Brandon DN. He's probably still playing Yosenju. 1668. That is a really good rating for to have with Yosen. He's playing against Zabaza, aka Freed, 1732. I'd have to say Yosen is probably the underdog here. Strong opening though with the snatch steal and the D-Fissure. I like this opening because if you can play solid defense, it kind of like the life points are irrelevant, and with D-Fissure, any of those costs that your opponent sends to the graveyard, they all get banished. You know what I mean? So, like if they send Shuri, I mean they still get the search, but they can't then use Shuri later in the game for like the regular Nekroz mirror or anything like that. So it's just kind of a disruptive card for them. It's not quite as good as MegaCapitalG because with macro you can just banish the spells too, so that's like infinitely better. Or I guess you could say MegaCapitalG / Dark Law. So he's gonna MST the D-Fissure, which I mean that in itself proved how difficult the card obviously was for him. Now, okay, so we got mistakes in the main deck, and what I was gonna say is if he has another floodgate, you give him the thumbs up, because if he just burnt MST on one floodgate, he don't got another MST. So this was actually better because he ends up getting a plus off of that. He loses Brio for nothing, and then obviously Brandon DN is netting 1300 each turn. I actually think that I dueled him recently, and he was actually talking about, he was like, he's like, you've had me on your channel. I was like, yeah, man, you know, you're pretty much the doing it the best for Yosenju on Dueling Network. So, I mean, at 1668, that's higher than me. First I got really high, and then I dropped really low back into like the 1500s. I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I think I'm sitting at about 1648 right now. So, right now, I'm going to say that I'm going to honestly say that the mistake is doing way more damage than the D-Fissure would have. Because the D-Fissure does stop plays, but it doesn't stop Manju Sanju. And you have to remember that that's essentially 6 cards in their deck, and Preparation of Rites. That's 9 cards in their deck, where the sole purpose of that card is just to search another card. This card is literally just shutting down 9 cards. And I'm not even counting Brios and shit like that, because Brios can technically, I mean, they do have other effects. I'm trying to think what Brio does. No, I think no. Brio just all it does is search. I'm lunching. For some reason I was thinking Brio stops targeting, but that's Trishula. Nope, Brio all it does. So yeah, okay. So technically it's 12 cards in their deck that all they do is search, and they're stopped by this card. I can understand why he's playing this in the main deck. And what I was gonna say about this matchup is, I don't think Yosenju can just rely on the vanities, macro, and I don't think that they can just use vanities, macro, and D-Fissure and beat Nekroz consistently. I don't think those are 5 semi floodgate cards. I just don't think it's enough. Like I think that you need to either be main decking Shared Rides, or you need to be main decking Mistake, or something else that can potentially steal game ones away from your opponent. Like that's how I feel. You know, I'm playing Shared Rides right now, and it's just, you know, it's like it's an upstart that you get to use on your opponent's turn, and it basically just stops their play. You know, most people aren't going to want to give you 2 cards, so they summon Manju, you play Shared Ride, and then it's like they can't advance their game. They can't do anything else. So usually they just pass, because if they Kaleidoscope, that usually requires them to, that usually means the Unicorn play. They want to search for Herald. That's giving you another card. They can't use, you know, Klaus to search any spells, because that's giving you more cards. So looks like he has Vanities plus Snatch Steal, or excuse me, Vanities plus Mistake. And now he's just going to town. An MST would hurt, because he would lose Mistake and Vanities. But, as Brandon does have at least 1 comma, I was going to say, he could close the game out here. And he does. Okay, so that was game 2. I wish I could have gotten game 1. So I guess he's not main decking Mistakes. By the way, price of this card is going up. So I wonder if he probably doesn't side out the Tinkies. He probably just, you know, like, keeps them in, because that's really the only card that Mistake conflicts with is Tinky. Like, I don't really think that it conflicts with Comma 3 that much, because her effect is just letting you go +1. So instead of going +1, you just don't go +1, but it doesn't stop you from actually, you know what I mean, playing her and attacking with her and doing all of that stuff. So game 3, there was something I was just thinking about. I lost my train of thought about Yosenju. Oh yeah. Well, I guess duality. I didn't know he played duality. Okay, he's already got Mistake lined up. I think that I wish that there was a way for Yosenju to get the Tenkis off board. Like, I feel like when they have Tenki on board, it can clutter up their back row. You know what I mean? Like, with Bujins back in the day, Bujins didn't play, like, at least the version that I played, I didn't really run any row traps. All I ran was Royal Decree. So, like, I never worried about my back row getting cluttered. I didn't run, you know what I mean, like, a whole bunch of floodgate cards and whatnot. Well, I guess Royal Decree was a floodgate, but I never really had to worry about my back row getting kind of, like, jammed up. So, I wonder if they'll ever make a way for them to get rid of cards like that. So, he hits him with Anti-Spell Fragrance, obviously meaning that not only if he had Denko, could he not get around it, but if he has MST, he basically has to burn MST on Anti-Spell Fragrance and not on Mistake. Unless he just doesn't want to be able to use spells like the way he wants to. So he is going to go ahead and use Mistake on that. But I'm pretty sure that this was just protection for Mistake. Yeah, so he uses Twister on the Anti-Spell Fragrance. I think I may have said that. He chains Macro Cosmos to get the Twister banished. Okay, so Twister will be banished. And this is far better than Dimensional Fissure ever could be. Because with Dimensional Fissure, they can still get spells in the graveyard. With this card, not gonna happen. And this, well, no, they both actually stop Ice and Fire Hand. I like this, yeah, because it's an out to people who think, okay, I'm gonna summon Ice Hand, I'm just gonna ravage your entire back row in your field and just can't do it if your opponent has macro. Not to mention those cards aren't that good against this deck anyway, because their monsters don't stay on the board unless they exceed. So it's like, you can't ever just suicide train Ice and Fire Hand against this deck and clear board. Like, it's great against Klee, but it really doesn't work so much against this deck. This deck may be like Denko Rekka, but if your opponent is gonna preemptively flip over all their floodgate cards, obviously looking to play around Denko Rekka and just hurt your deck in general, I mean, she's really not that good. So now Zabuza is in a position where a lot of these cards could potentially be dead. He's setting some cards. He could have Royal Decree. He could have Malevolent Catastrophe. He could have Book of Eclipse. Those could just be completely dead cards. So Brandon Dien activates another Tenki, which he wouldn't have even been able to do had he had Fragrance up, but Zabuza burned the Twister on that. I wonder why he burnt the Twister if he knew that he had Mistake too. So I think what you'll see is him go comma 2, comma 3 and see if he can just get more Yosenju cards. I mean, that seems like the best play. Maybe get the comma Honest. Alright, so he goes comma 2, comma 3. As long as he doesn't get smacked around by Mirror Force, he should be pretty good. And he gets the attack in. That card's actually 2,000 attack. Which means he instantly can trigger comma 3. And then get comma 1. He's going to attack again. Okay, so he's getting his damage in. I have to wonder here. I don't know if he plays Diamond Direwolf, but I would probably, like, personally, I think I would go for the for what's it called, for Lightning Chidori, or Lightning Plover, whatever it's called in the CCG. Just because I want to minimize my chances of getting wrecked by Royal Decree. Like, I don't want you flipping over Royal Decree and then I lose. You know what I mean? Because my macro plus Mistake is clearly just shitting on you right now. That's not even arguable. It's clearly disrupting you. You don't want to, you can't use Brio, you can't use Manju Sanju. Just so many of your cards right now are not good. He activates Storm, which is only going to kill one card. And this is the first time I've ever seen Storm in Nekroz. Unless he's going to chain a Mystical Space Typhoon or something from his hand. So he chains MST. So he will be able to get 2 cards. Okay, so I guess if he would have went Lightning Chidori, I guess there would have been a 50-50 chance that he would have gotten the Storm. I mean, I just felt like that's what I would have done. So he gets rid of Storm and Macro. I mean, essentially all those did was serve as 2 MSTs. He's going to activate the effect of Manju. And he's finally able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, because the way that I look at it is, like, his board was locking him down so badly. I mean, outside of him having the back row, outside of him getting rid of those cards, like, what exactly could Zabuza do? Like, there was literally nothing that he could really do that was going to hurt Brandon DN. So I would have been trying to go after, like, a Royal Decree, or really just, I would have had Royal Decree on the mind. You know what I mean? And I guess, if you would have hit MST, he could have chained it. But if you would have hit Storm, then you probably just win the game. Cause he can't get rid of both cards. And even if you do get rid of MST, then his Storm is completely dead. So it's like you're in good shape either way. So he searched out Brio. I believe, yeah, he searched Brio from the what's it called? From the spell. I think I'd go for Ragnar Zero. That seems like the obvious play here. Okay, he goes for Ragnar Zero. Oh boy, Bottomless Trap Hole. That kind of sucks. So Bottomless is played on the Ragnar Zero. Although, I mean, I guess he had Brio. I probably would have done it on the Unicorn then. Cause that leaves you just with a Manju on field, and then you can't, like, cause I'm pretty sure he's gonna try and Trishula you now. But what I'm saying is, if you were to Bottomless the Unicorn, he can't advance his game state. Like, he would have a Brio in hand, but what would that do? He wouldn't be able to use his spell. So, like, what would the Brio do? I guess you could get Brio, you could get Colossalus, and then discard Colossalus to search a spell, but then you'd have to already have the monster in hand. You know what I mean? Like, you'd already have to have the Trishula or whatever in your hand already. So we'll see what's gonna happen here. But I really think Brandon Dien I really think he should have made that lightning Chidori and just tried to go after one of his back rows. It would have left him with only one card in hand. I get that, but still, if he would have hit that Storm, pretty much it'd have been like semi a wrap, because he'd been able to MST your mistake, but then he would have had to play into Macro, which means he wouldn't have got the search for Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope would have been banished. You just would have been so far, you'd have been in such a good position. The Macro Cosmos would have just been doing so much fucking work right now. Alright, so what is Zabuza gonna do? He got a cycle out. Now there is no second Ragnar Zero to go to. Nekroz are not running 2 Ragnar Zeros. I know they have a lot of room in their extra deck, but they don't got that much room because they still have to run shit for Kaleidoscope. I mean, I assume he's going to go for Trishula. And you're going to banish one of the commas. The problem is, I guess if you hit the wrong comma, you could get gamed. If he still has like comma 2, the one that bounces, or is that comma 1? Whichever one has the evac device, he could just bounce your Trishula and just go attack cowboy. So like you would need Valk at that point. So he's looking through his deck. I mean, maybe he might just search the Valk. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. And you have to remember that Brandon Dien is going to get another draw too. So it's like he could just draw another. He could end up drawing another. What's it called? Another Yosenju or a Snatch Steal. Well, no, yeah, Snatch Steal, because he used that last game. He could end up drawing one of his power cards, like a Tenki, a Regeki, Snatch Steal, another Yosenju, to just put in for more damage. So he gets Valk, okay, because he wants to survive. I guess he's not concerned about Trishula right now. He's thinking more or less, I need to live through this turn and worry about Trishula later. So let's see what you're going to do, Brandon DN. I mean, obviously you're going to summon, you obviously have to get rid of the Valk. I mean, it's in your opponent's hand now. I don't really think that any of your back row cards, I mean, any of your Exceed monsters can really play around it. We don't have Shockmaster in the 2CG, and even if you did have Shockmaster, you'd still have to put a bunch of damage on board, like, after Shockmaster, just because Shockmaster is only what, 2350, I think. I think Shockmaster is 2350. It's either 2350 or 2300. I feel like it's 2350. It's been a minute since I've looked at Shockmaster. All right, so if only he had DD Designator, right? You just call it. He said he grabbed Cycle. He did. Usually when people get Cycle, they're looking to summon Trishula. Because it's so easy. It's so easy because, you know, usually they have, or excuse me, usually when they get Mirror, they're looking to summon Trishula. Usually when they get Cycle, they're looking to summon like Unicorn back or something like that. So, I mean, whatever spell he got now is kind of irrelevant. It's not like he can play it on your turn. He's looking at his extra deck. Yeah, I know that what's it called has another effect. I know that Tiger King has another effect to do something. I think he can launch like 3 Tenkies to summon a Beast Warrior from the deck, but I don't know if it has to be like a Fire Fist Beast Warrior or what. So obviously he's going to attempt to attack, and he'll use the Valk. The Valk will definitely have to come out. There's nothing on the field, so I'm not really sure. There we go. He has to move to battle phase, attempt to attack. There's Valk. It'll banish something. Banishes Brio. He might be trying to summon the Valk back with the Nekroz cycle. I think Yosenju need a rank 4 so bad it's not even funny. I think they need just like 2 decent rank 4s. I don't even think they have to be that great. They need rank 4s like so badly. So he goes for Tiger King. This gives me a good chance to read this guy, by the way, too. I used it in Bujins, but I hardly ever used it. Here's the effect. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send 3 fire formations you control, summon a level. Okay, so it's any level 4 Beast Warrior from your deck. Oh no, wait, it's 2 if they have the same attack. Okay, I thought it was something crazy like that. I wasn't sure if it was Fire Fist monsters. I knew it was never relevant in Bujins because I could never summon 2 Beast Warriors. Like all the Bujin Beast Warriors, you can only control 1 of. So I never used it, but you can use it in this deck because if this dude dies, you could basically like he could get 2 more Comet 2s. Oh man, that mistake! Are you kidding me? That was the perfect card. That was the perfect card for this situation. Not only does he get his Tenki off and gets another search, but now he's sitting on a 2500 body. Yeah, that pretty much was the perfect counter. He needed that badly. Not only does he completely counter the Manju, but now you can't search any of your spells, which I don't even think he has any spells in his graveyard. So let's see what he's going to do. And keep in mind, even if he is able to get over Tiger King, like let's say he summons Valkyris, let's say that he summons Valkyris and he attacks over Tiger King, he will immediately launch those 3 Tenkies to get 2 Yosenjus. That's a guarantee. And they will not bounce themselves either because they're special summoned, not normal summoned. So, okay, he plays Cycle. I believe he has to pay 8 stars. Okay, no he doesn't. He's going to pay Sharit. Sharit will do nothing, basically. I mean, it pays the cost, but he can't search, so sucks for him. He'll enter battle phase. Tiger King will die. He'll take 400, and then he'll activate Tiger King's effect, as long as he knows what's good for him. So he is going to activate the effect. He's going to launch all 3 of those Tenkies, and now he'll be able to summon 2 more Yosenjus. So this Manju probably isn't going to be doing any attacking, because he can just bring them out in attack mode. And he hasn't run through enough Yosenjus where he won't be able to resolve the effect. He might end up bringing Comet 3s out. Because I think he's only used Comet 3. I think he only has 1 Comet 3. that we've seen so far. And I'm pretty sure the deck runs 3,3s. So Brandon DN just must be thinking about what he's going to potentially summon. Now what Zabuza will almost certainly do is he'll launch the Manju to draw another card, but man, right now the mistake is just putting in too much work. As long as Brandon Ian summons 2 guys that don't get ran over, he should be able to take this game, because he can just spin this guy back to the deck with Castel, or he can absorb it using 101. Okay, so he's gonna bring out the honest guy. That sucks because it's gonna get ran over. He still keeps a monster though. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He still keeps a monster, and he can still use its effect, so that's kind of important. Now, I'm looking for Zabuza to launch that Manju. I'm looking for him to draw a card. Problem is, he's already committed his normal summon, and that kind of sucks. Like, he would basically need to have, I don't know, Snatch Steal and Castel the mistake away to have a good chance at coming back, maybe. But he gives away his only level 4, which means, okay, so he's giving away 2. I wasn't sure if he was going to give up the card in his hand, but he does. I'm not really sure what he was hoping to draw. I hope it's what he needed. Mystical Space Typhoon seems like it would be a really good card to draw here. But if you drew anything like Preparation of Rites or more Manjus and Sanjus, cards like that, then it's no good. I mean, maybe he's looking for another Valk. That could be something. Or he could be looking for a Trishula, something like that. He drew a Twister, he drew a Twister and a Storm. So those don't do anything. And unfortunately, all Brandon DN would have needed to do is just summon his 2 Yosenjus, make Castel, and attack for game. And whichever Yosenju that he did not use for an XC, he would have used the Yosenju Honest to make it 1,000 more. So like, he could have summoned his Kama 2. He could have pumped him up by 1,000. He'd have been sitting at what, 2,800 attack. So he would have went Castel or 101. This guy would have gotten spun or absorbed, and then he would have taken 2,000 plus 2,800, or potentially 21 plus 28. Either way, it totally clears the 3,800 that he needs to get through. And if he would have used Twister, then he would have been just digging himself a deeper hole, because that would have been 500 more life points that Brandon DM would not have needed to do. So looks like the floodgates get the job done. Thank you guys for watching as always.